Guys, they said Ebony was in tears over the king's decision. According to the information, she did not know that the king would take this matter this serious because she had been doing it over and over again, and it was looking like the king was just ignoring her. But this time around, they said Ebony challenged the king in front of both guards and some servants, and that did not go well. According to what we are hearing, they said Ebony, who was so upset over what is happening right now, they said she have demanded for 500,000 pounds and a mansion, of which the king said she should make that available for herself, that he is not giving her anything. After all, she is the one that says she doesn't want to do again. So they said Ebony reported the king to the elders, and the king refused to attend when they summoned him. So they said Ebony was very angry when he went to the king's chamber uninvited, because they said before they will be able to see the king will either invite them, or in short, the king will invite them even if the matter is urgent or needed his immediate attention. They will have to text him or send a voice note. Then it is left for him to say, okay, come, before that person will come. You cannot just wake up and start going to his chamber uninvited or unannounced, because you might go there and he will be with someone, and at the end of the day, you will not be allowed to see him. So no matter, even though you call yourself a wife, they said it was only the jewel that can go to his chamber then, without giving him prior information or anything. So that is how they said Ebony woke up and went to the king's chamber. Upon getting there, she saw, uh, she noticed that Adetutu and Lizzie, they were having some discussions with the king. And the information have it that arrangements have been going. There is ongoing arrangement for the marriage between the king and that Adetutu. And the essence of that marriage, according to what we are hearing, is because of some of the rituals that Ebony is doing in the palace as a wife. The Adetutu will have to take over, because they said the jewel have made it open that Ebony will no longer be representing her in that palace. That whatever that she's doing right now, she's doing it on her own. And that was how Adetutu came in. So Adetutu is representing the jewel. That's why she's doing most of the rituals that Ebony was doing. So when Ebony got there, she met the Adetutu and Lizzie and the king having some discussion. And they said when the king asked her to leave there, she said she goes nowhere. That there is no way she is leaving that place. If there's anyone who should leave the place, it should be that Adetutu. That Adetutu is not yet a wife to the king, and all of that. They said she was so mean. She was so kind of behaving as someone that took banana or something. They said the king was surprised. Then at some point, the king asked Adetutu and Lizzie to excuse him, because everyone is saying that what she have come to say is very important and all of that. And she must discuss with the king, because they said the king have been denying her access to him all this while and for a very long time. So that was how they said Adetutu and Lizzie left. When they left, Ebony started having discussion with the king, how the king have been so mean to her. At first, she was kind of begging, telling the king to please have a rethink over the issue of settling and not settling and her business, because they say she have come up with a business that she needed 180 million naira to pay for the building that she will be using for the business and all of that, of which the king said no, that she should look for a smaller place. So while she was saying that, the king was still saying no. That is how they say she flared up, talking about marginalization. What kind of level of marginalization is this that the king is doing? That it is too much. So it is okay to spend millions of naira on a building for a queen, for the jewel, why it is not okay to invest just ordinary 180 million in her own business. And that was how they said the king told her that if 180 million was that just ordinary, they can get it that she should bring it out from her purse, or maybe contact her family members that have been playing music for her all this while. That is how they said she started using certain words for the king. And at that point, they said the king became angry. Very, very angry, and was telling her to leave. And they say Ebony insisted that she goes nowhere until they are able to settle the issue that is between them. That was how they said the king became so angry. And Ebony was raising voice. They said the security came to know what is happening. And they said at that point, Ebony was still raising voice, calling the king names before the guards and all of that. And they said the king became so angry that he could no longer bear it. That was when they said he gave Ebony 24 hours to vacate the palace. That failure to do that, he is going to order the guards to lock up that place, and Ebony will not enter there again. And even if she decides to stay in there so that they will not lock up, that they are going to drag her out and lock that place. They said Ebony started crying, telling the king that the jewel have bewitched him. And that is why anything that has to do with her again is a problem. But when it is about the jewel, the king will go extra mile to satisfy her that this kind of bewitchment, that she's going to do something about it. If it is juju, it is going to clear your eyes. They said Ebony was crying and making a whole lot of noise in the palace. And this thing, they said, happened at midnight. They said it was midnight that all of this was happening. And people were hearing the voices. You know that when things like this happen at night, even the people living far from the place, they will be hearing the voices. And they said the king was highly disappointed with Ebony. But at the end of the day, don't be surprised that maybe her family will come and beg on her behalf, telling the king, please, she's a woman, she's just protecting her territory. You should please forgive her. She was doing that out of emotion, out of love. It is because of the love that she has for you. Huh? That is how they normally come now. And at the end of the day, you will hear that she did not pack out of that palace. But I believe that if the king will stand his ground and ensure that she pack out of that place, even if she returns, she will respect herself. Knowing that if she do anyhow, that she is going to collect woto from the king. But I just pray that this news of her saying that she's going to leave the marriage, I just pray that it is going to be so. Let it not be just unnecessary noise, and at the end of the day, she will say that they buy in the marriage, that no leave, no transfer. Anyway, guys, that is what you're hearing if the information is true. I want to remind you that these are all alleged, unverified information making rounds on social media and shouldn't be seen as fact unless you verify them. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Love you.